Unity addressables give you more control over how and when everything is loaded into the game, which will help you to save gigabytes of your RAM. It is especially useful for loading large worlds like in games Assassin's Creed, The Witcher or Skyrim. It will also help you to improve the performance on mobile devices, and the most useful feature is connecting it with cloud. That will allow you to push changes to the cloud, and the players of your game can keep the same build and it is going to automatically update. To my game, I have just added this large word, and it is not actually spawned in the game yet. It is just a reference in a script that will automatically spawn it when I press W, and I have also made a build of the game. As I play the game, you can see that it is already taking a lot of RAM even though we are just in empty scene, and this is because the whole world is already loaded in the background. So this is what addressables will help us to solve, so when we don't need the object, it is not going to be loaded in the background. First, we will need to download the addressables package, so go to your package manager, go to Unity registered packages, search for addressables and click install. Once we have that, we can create new script and put it to some empty object in our scene, which will be our addressables loader. We will implement the Unity engine.addressable assets namespace, and there is pretty much just one, the most common function that we will be using, which is the load assets async, which we can get using the addressables class. And we want to be using the async one, which is short for asynchronous, which means that it is not blocking the main thread, so the games can still continue even when we are loading some of these assets. But before we can start loading some objects, we actually need to mark them as addressables. So I will go back to Unity, open window, asset management, addressables, and we will just care about the groups and profiles windows for now. So go into the groups window. First, it will just ask you to create the addressable settings, so just do that. It is going to generate some files where we have a bunch of settings. We can see the settings in the addressable assets data folder that we'll need to modify later. In the addressables groups, you can see that we have a default local group to which we will be adding all of our assets that we want to load using addressables. So I will select my terrain demo, for which I have made a prefab, and just simply drag it to the group. And now you can see that when I select the prefab in the project, we have ticked that it is a addressable asset, and it is also showing us the path. So if you want to make your asset addressable, you can just drag it in, or you can just tick addressable, and you can also do the same thing for the folders, so you can see that it just appeared here. Now as this asset is marked as addressable, we can easily use it in the script. So there are three ways that you can reference these objects. The first one, the most ugliest one in my opinion, is to use the addressable path. So we can just copy the string, go to the script, say addressables.loadAssetAsync. Which type of asset is it? It is game object. And then to the parentheses, we'll need to specify the location, so just paste in the path. And that's how we manually load asset into our game. Right now we can't really do anything with it, so we'll need to create reference for the async operation handle, which will also be storing the final result game object, so we'll need to add using Unity engine.resource management.async operations. So I have created async operation handle of type game object. That's important that you actually specify of which type the handle it is. And now we can do some interesting stuff with it, such as we can get the result. So I can just type handle.result, which in this case would give us the game object. We can't instantiate the object right away after we load it, because we are not sure if the loading was done, because it can take some time. And because it is a synchronous operation, it is not going to block the main thread, so the code will just go. So from the handle, we can access the completed, which we can then assign to some function. So to the completed event, I have subscribed new function that I have just created. It is just a void that is taking in the async operation handle of the same type of the handle that we have just created. And in the function I'm also doing some additional stuff, which is just checking for the status if the async operation has succeeded. If it did, then we can just instantiate the object, which I'm taking from the handle.result. So if you would want to do something with sprites, textures, you can always access the result using .result. So using this line, we are just telling it that after it finishes loading, we just want to spawn some object. So once I press W, it should do that. So I'm pressing W, wait for some time, And we can see that indeed it loaded the whole world. Once I started the loading, it takes a bit more time, but the benefit is that once you load the game, it is not going to take so much time because the objects are not already loaded. What if you don't like working with strings like me? We can just create a variable that will be storing the asset reference to the asset that we want to load. And instead of calling the function on the addressables class, we'll just call it on the asset reference itself, and then in the parentheses we are not specifying any parameters. But this way, what if the user specifies, let's say, audio clip as the environment reference? Then it will give us an error because here the type is specified as GameObject, so the best way to do it is to specify that the asset reference should be GameObject. So this here is the safest way to load your addressables. And back in Unity, we can't forget to set the environment reference, so just open your addressables group and drag it in. Or you can also just drag it by the prefab from your project, or if there is an object that you don't have yet in the addressables group window, you can just drag it straight away and it is going to work if the type is the GameObject. Yep, and we can see the environment is loaded correctly once more. And if you are just instantiating some objects, you can use the instantiate async function, which will make your code even cleaner. So we can do the same stuff just with one line of code, so call the instantiate async function on the asset reference. And to the parentheses, you can also specify the position, rotation, parent, and so on. Yep, this still works the same. And if you want to add your own asset reference, let's say for audio clip, you may start to search for it, so asset reference, but you can see that there is no audio clip in here. So the way that we do that is to create our own class. We can just name it asset reference audio clip, make sure that it is system.serializable, so we can see it in the inspector, and this class is going to derive from asset reference t, where we actually specify the type that we want this asset reference to be. And then we just need a constructor for it. So now I can make a variable of type asset reference audio clip, and when I try setting the GameObject to it, it doesn't work because we need to input some audio clip. So the first way to load your addressables asset is using the string, the second way is to load them using the asset reference, and the third one is to load them using labels. So you create one just like that, pretty simple, and these labels can be pretty useful, for example, if you want to load an entire folder of some stuff. So I have added folder into the addressable groups, and if you would try dragging it just into normal asset reference with no specified type, it would work, but once you would play the game it would do nothing. So the way to load entire folders is to just mark the entire folder with some label. So you can set them using this dropdown, you can also manage labels to add your own, and when I set, for example, to the default label and I open the folder, all of the objects inside it are also marked in the default label, and in the inspector I can then easily specify the label just by selecting it. And in the script, if you are loading multiple assets because you are using the label, you also want to make sure that all of the assets are of the same type, because then as we are loading it, we are using the load assets async function. We need to specify the type, so it can be anything you want, and then into the parameters we are inputting the label, and then I just created an anonymous function that takes in the GameObject as a parameter, and then it just adds some position to it. So if you are loading the assets using the completed event, which we have here on the handle, you actually don't have to be creating a separate function for it, you can just create an anonymous method like this. So that's how we can load addressable assets using a string, asset reference, and asset label. Now we'll get to the most useful feature in my opinion, which is to use addressables with cloud, so that you can easily push changes to the cloud and players of your game won't even need to download new build. To connect Unity Cloud with our Unity project, we need to make sure that the project is linked to a Unity ID. So if it is not, you can go to Edit, Project Settings, Services, and here if you see all of this info, it means that it is connected. If it is not, then you can just hit a link with Unity ID. Then we will jump to our browser and search for Unity Cloud. We'll open this page, cloud.unity.com. You can just sign in. Once you are signed in, you can take a look into your projects and select the project for which you want to use the cloud. Then we can just scroll down, and if you wouldn't have the cloud content delivery active, which is the package that you will use to make the addressables work with cloud, And don't worry, the first 50 gigabytes are for free, which is quite a lot. So you would just scroll down, find the cloud content delivery and hit launch. Then it will ask you to input your payment information, but as I said, the first 50 gigabytes are for free, which you can also see here. Once you have launched the cloud content delivery for your project, you can go to buckets and create new bucket. And just follow the on-screen instructions. Once you have the bucket created, as you can see, I named my just Windows. Under it, you will also be able to see all of the entries as for the files that we have added into the bucket, and you can also upload new content. Then we will go to the addressable remote path URLs, which will just allow us to get the URL of the server and access the data. So for now, we'll copy the latest batch, which is just pointing to the latest release. We'll go back to Unity and we'll need to open a new window. So go to Window, Asset Management, Addressables, and we'll open the Profiles window. Here we can set up where we want to save and load all of the files from Addressables. So we'll need to edit the remote path. So I will select Custom, and to the load path, we can paste the path of our server. So Unity knows from where we should download all of the files, and we can leave all of the other stuff as it is. We'll also need to change some settings of the addressables. So we'll go to the addressable assets data that Unity has automatically created for us. We'll select the addressable asset setting, and in here we want to make sure that you tick the build remote catalog, and you set the build and load paths to custom. The build path, you will set it to remote.build path, and the load path will be remote.load path. Then we'll need to scroll down and find the packed asset scriptable object, where we will need to change the same thing. So we'll change the build and load paths to remote. Then we'll go back to addressable assets data folder, go to asset groups, select the default local group, and again we'll set the build and load paths to remote. And lastly, we will go to the schemes folder, where we will select the default local group bundled asset group scheme, and again set the path to the remote.build path and remote.load path. And that should be all for the boring settings, so we can now make a build of our game. So just go to File, Build Settings, and build it somewhere. And make sure that you have set your build platform to the correct one. Once we have built the game, we'll also need to build our addressables and push them to the cloud, because right now they are not actually stored in the actual project. To do that, just add any addressables into your addressable groups window. So I have just added a simple prefab so that I don't have to be uploading tons of files. And then in the addressable groups window, we'll just click build, new build, and default build script. That was pretty quick. Now we'll go to our projects folder and we'll open the server data folder in which we have the build that we have made. For me it is Windows, and you want to copy all of the files that we have in here. Again, go to cloud.unity.com, select upload content, and then you can drag all of the files in here, hit upload files, and once they are uploaded, you need to refresh the page and create release. This is important because if you don't do it, those files will not actually be released. And once the release was successfully created, we can try playing our game in the build. When we play it, there is nothing in here, but when I press W, you will see that it will start downloading some information and soon all of the objects will appear. So for the first time that you play the game, it is obviously going to take a bit more time because we need to download all of the files. But when we try playing it again and I will press W, you can see that it is really quick. Now the biggest benefit of using cloud with addressables is that now I can go back to Unity and change, for example, the prefab. So I have just added one more ball with cube and made them smaller. Now we will just go back to the addressables group, make new build, and again publish it to Unity Cloud. And after you upload the files again, don't forget to create the release. So now I can play the same build of the game, and when I press W, we can see that the objects are really showing differently. Even though I haven't actually downloaded a new build, we have just published the changes to the cloud and Unity has automatically downloaded them. So you can see that addressables connected with Unity Cloud make it really easy for us to push new changes to the players of our game. The players will be able to load the game a lot quicker, and when they are downloading it for the first time, the download size will also be smaller. I hope that this video was useful. If you have any questions or suggestions, drop them down to the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you in next videos. Bye! Thanks for watching this video till the end. If you are looking for a Unity, C# or Bolt tutor, then I am here for you, so feel free to send me a message to my Gmail and take a look at my website for more info. I can help you with your personal projects or teach you anything about game development you would want to know. You are welcome.